Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Edward McCabe, co-founder of Museum Lifestyle Center. It is my pleasure to introduce my wife, Janice McCabe. She has over 30 years of experience in public health, PhD in health services, and is a naturopath doctor. This qualifies her to be able to speak at the top 8 keys to optimize your health.
Welcome to Optimize Your Health. This is a series that explores 8 important keys to enjoy abundant health. As the word optimize suggests, in this series we are going to be looking at 8 important things that we can do to enjoy a good quality of health. So now, the first letter of optimize is O. Can you just imagine what that O means? The O is for oxygen. Oxygen is the first key to optimize our health. We know that the Word of God says in Genesis 2 and verse 7, the Lord God formed man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostril the breath of life, and man became a living creature. I am suggesting to you today that the breath of life was what turned man from a lifeless collection of matter into a living creature. Now, why is oxygen so important? Why is oxygen considered the breath of life? Well, here it is. Oxygen is the only element that is essential for the formation and maintenance of our body. Let us look at this a little clearer. Oxygen plus hydrogen and carbon and nitrogen is equal to protein. Proteins are the building blocks of our body. And then oxygen, hydrogen, and carbon makes up carbohydrates. And carbohydrates is what fuels their body, gives their body the energy that it needs. Again, oxygen and hydrogen makes up water. Our body is about 65 to 70% water. So that is why oxygen is the first key. Without oxygen, there'll be no life. The combination of oxygen in the air, water, protein, carbohydrate creates the energy that gives us our life. Oxygen is the most important element in the human body. Do you know that we can live weeks without food, days without water, but just a few minutes, if we are deprived of oxygen, we can die. So oxygen is crucial to our existence. Now I know the question you will be asking me. What percentage of oxygen is in the air we breathe? I'm glad you asked that question. Oxygen only makes up 21% of the air we breathe. Yes, you heard me correctly, 21%. The rest of the air we breathe contains 78% nitrogen. Carbon dioxide is only about 0.04%. Then we have some argon, we have some ozone, we have water vapor, and other gases. These make up a tiny percentage of the air we breathe. Now let's try to compare the air we breathe in and the air we breathe out. When we inhale, we are actually taking in 21% oxygen. We take in 1% of the water vapor, 0.04% of carbon dioxide, and it is actually 78% nitrogen. But when we exhale, we are actually exhaling 16% oxygen, 4% carbon dioxide, the 78% nitrogen, and the 2% consists of water vapor and other gases. So you can see, when God decided to make man, he was very clear about what they are something that are called layers. And they function as filters for the air that comes into our lungs. The nose has what we call turbines that humidify the air and heats it up before it comes into the lungs. Now, the humidification of the air facilitates the exchange of the gases that takes place in the lungs. Now, oxygen, the first key. Listen to what the servant of the Lord says in Testimonies, Volume 1, page 701. She says, air is a free blessing from heaven, calculated to electrify the whole system. Without it, the system will be filled with diseases and will become dormant, languid, and feeble. So the more of the oxygen we get, the better our bodies will function. Now, it's important for us to understand that there are specific benefits that our body experiences when we take fresh air, breathe in oxygen. There are many systems of the body, and they network together, and all of them are interdependent, and they all depend on that first key. That first key that is called oxygen. So in the circulatory system, if there is no oxygen, it wouldn't function well. Did you know that we need oxygen as well to digest our food properly? Our endocrine system needs oxygen. Our hematological system needs oxygen. All the systems of the body. The nervous system, the reproductive system, the skeletal system, the urinary system, just to name a few. Every part of our body works in synergy, and they all depend on oxygen. Now, when we think of our body and our earth, the way things operate, we know that in the atmosphere there is oxygen. But also, God in His wisdom made the trees before He made man so that man can get the oxygen that he needs. The plant, through the process of photosynthesis, creates oxygen. Now that oxygen cycles in the air, and when we breathe it in, both plants and animals, we breathe in the oxygen and we breathe out the carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide goes to the tree and the process continues. So you see, our God is a magnificent God, and He made these bodies in an interesting and magnificent way. That is why the Word of God says we are fearfully and wonderfully made. Everything God thought about before He made man. Now, you may be asking me another important question. Which organ of the body requires the most amount of oxygen? Then I'm going to ask you a question. What organ of the body controls the entire system? Yes, you got it right, the brain. So the brain is the organ of the body that requires the most oxygen. Just imagine, the brain is just 2% of the body by weight. But do you know how much oxygen the brain requires? Yes, the brain actually requires 25% of the oxygen. So anything you can do to increase your oxygen supply would increase the efficiency of your brain. And we need our brains to be working efficiently so that we can think and reason and process and do the things we need to do. In addition to going out in the fresh air and breathing in the oxygen, exercise is another excellent way to get enough oxygen to the brain. Now, do you know that there are some things in the atmosphere called negative ions? Now let me ask you a question. Have you ever experienced a headache, uneasiness, a sudden nauseated feeling, or overcrowded rooms. This is actually a common problem. And sometimes, when you're even in an air-conditioned room, you can have the same problem. Do you know why? Well, it's because of lack of negative ions in the room. Negative ions in the atmosphere, they are very good for our body. They are more abundant in the air early in the morning or after a thunderstorm, and they can be found near bodies of moving water and near trees. So the more you go outdoors, the better you will be able to get these negative ions. These negative ions are also present in the air we breathe in as well as the air we breathe out. And they are important for our body's functioning. The degree to which the negative ions contribute to our overall well-being and health is scientifically proven. Now listen to what a reputable magazine said, and this is a peer-reviewed journal. It says that when we have negative ions in the air we breathe, it neutralizes free radicals. We know that free radicals it's very important that our body neutralizes these free radicals because that is what causes us to get sick. So we need the ions, the negative ions, so that they can neutralize the free radicals. Now, negative ions also revitalizes the cell, and it helps us to be better able to perform the function of metabolism. It enhances our immune function, and if there was a time when our immune system needed to be functioning at optimum, it is now at this stage of our lives when we are experiencing the coronavirus. We need strong immune system. One way to get your immune system functioning well is to make sure you are breathing in air that has negative ions. It also helps with the purification of your blood. It helps with the balance of your automatic nervous system. It promotes deep sleep, and it helps also with your digestion. So, negative ions are very, very important. Now, do you know that the air we breathe also helps to stabilize our blood pressure? Yes, it actually does. Fresh air helps to improve the pressure, your blood pressure, and it improves cardiovascular health. So, it is important for you to avoid a polluted environment, particularly if you need to improve your blood pressure. You need to stay away from busy traffic, from lots of things that pollute your air in your home, and we're going to explore that a little later. But if you want your blood pressure to be stabilized, you need to breathe pure air where you get a lot of oxygen. Stay away from pollution, stay away from fumes, etc. Now, have you ever noticed that when you go outside on a nice sunny day and you take some deep breaths of oxygen, that you come back feeling refreshed? Because the oxygen you breathe in helps to increase your serotonin level. And your serotonin is the happy hormone. That is what makes you joyful and thankful and grateful. So when the weather is nice, go outdoors. Enjoy the fresh air so that you can get enough oxygen so that your serotonin levels can go up and you will feel better, think better, process information better, and you would look at life even in a more positive way. Now, it is also important to know that oxygen improves the functioning of your immune system. As I said earlier, at this time, when the coronavirus virus is wreaking havoc on our world, we need to make sure our immune systems are functioning well. By increasing the amount of fresh air we get, we will increase our oxygen, which helps our white blood cells to function properly in fighting off bacteria and germs and all those things that want to get us sick. So it's important that we focus on getting enough oxygen. Oxygen and our lungs. Your lungs dilate more from having increased amount of oxygen from the fresh air. It improves the cleansing of the lungs. It releases airborne toxins from your body when you exhale through your lungs. So oxygen is critical to our survival. Now, did you know that the more oxygen you get into your body, it gives you more energy and it sharpens your mind? You may have noticed that spending time outdoors, you come back feeling energized. And I said that before, but I wanted to emphasize you feel better, you think better, you process information better. So take time out to go outdoors and enjoy the fresh air. Now let's spend a moment comparing clean air and polluted air. When do we inhale pure, clean air and we get enough oxygen, it purifies our blood. It brightens the color of our blood as well. And the blood, as we know, is that life-giving current that flows through our body. Oxygen is important for our lungs. It soothes our nerves. It stimulates our appetite. It renders digestion more perfect. So the more oxygen you get, the better your food would digest. So it means more nutrients will go to your body. It induces sound sleep by refreshing your environment. Your sleep becomes more beneficial. Nothing unclean or decayed should be tolerated in the home. This is what Sister White says in Ministry of Healing, page 180. Because when we have decaying materials in the home, it causes our air to be polluted. And when the air is polluted, it impacts our health negatively. Polluted air causes improper blood circulation. It leads to such ailments as headache, dizziness, cold, fever, lung disease, vomiting, diarrhea, and even smallpox. The smog and the pollution in our atmosphere causes us to get sick. And Harvard Medical School, a journal that they produced, said that polluted air can even lead to a heart attack because it triggers elevated different things that are in the atmosphere. Different pollutants that are in the atmosphere become more concentrated, and by that means it affects your heart, so you can succumb to a heart attack. Also, polluted air leads to inflammation in the body, and we know that inflammation leads to pain, and it can also lead to all kinds of degenerative diseases. Polluted air also poisons the air. So if you have a garbage bin in the house with rotten fruits and vegetables, that is a no-no. That pollutes the air and it causes you to get sick. God wants us to enjoy abundant health. So we need to be mindful of the air we breathe. We need to be careful about the things that trigger pollution, like air fresheners, plug-ins, scented candles. We can think of radon gas, pesticide cleaning chemicals, sulfur oxide that are found in kerosene, lead paint, asbestos, mold, carpet, carbon dioxide, pet dander, and all these things can lead to pollution in our atmosphere. We should also know that perfume, deodorant, paint, cigarette smoke, exhaust fume, and factory pollutants also contribute to air pollution. So air pollution is very, very dangerous for our health. So we should make sure that we are enjoying good quality of health by staying away from pollution. Now, did you know that an estimated 7 million people die every year from air pollution? And this air pollution comes from industry, transportation, forest fire, radiation, and aerosols. These are the things that are robbing us of quality health. Now, how does pollution affect our body? Our physical and psychological well-being are both affected by the air we breathe, and subsequently, pollution would affect the quality of our life. There are many organs and bodily functions that can be harmed, and these include our respiratory system. When we have a lot of aerosols in our house, it affects our respiratory system. We can also have ear damage when we have radiation in our home. Our eyes and our mucous membrane can be irritated by all kinds of pollution. Our liver, our bones can be affected by radiation as well as nitrogen oxide. We can become fatigued, our nervous system can be affected. We can suffer cardiovascular damage. We can have intestinal damage, reproduction system can be damaged. All of these can be damaged by pollution in the air. And that comes from the New England Journal of Medicine. So, air pollution can cause cystic fibrosis, lung disease, cancer, difficulty breathing, wheezing, coughing, asthma, and it can even worsen your respiratory condition by causing cardiac condition. So, what can we do? We need to be mindful of trees and bushes that are close to our home. When we have trees and bushes that provide a lot of shade too close to our home, these tend to be more humid, provide a more humid environment, and a lack of sunlight. The sunlight doesn't penetrate, and this is not healthy. So we need to be mindful of that. Not too many trees that are very close to the home. You need the sunlight penetrating, you need the air to go through so that you can breathe properly. God, in His divine wisdom, gave us some trees and plants that actually can purify the air. Plants act as a natural purifier. So, it is recommended that we should have at least one air purifying plant in each room. And I know you will be asking me, where are some of those plants that purify the air? Here we have them. Peace lily, snake plant, spider plant, bamboo plant, and English ivy. These all help to purify the air that we breathe. So now, what should be our action plan for our first piece, oxygen? We need to spend more time outdoors so that we can get nice, pure, clean air. Number two, we need to keep our windows open, especially our bedroom window, because it promotes good sleep. Three, we need to reduce the use of air pollutant triggers. We need also, number four, to have at least one air purifying plant in each room of our house. We need to maintain good posture so that when we breathe in, we are getting full capacity of air. And one thing we need to be mindful of is tight clothing, because tight clothing can prevent your lungs from functioning at full capacity.
Hey everybody, it's Dr. Joe and Mr. Bear, and today I'm going to show you 2 simple breathing techniques to relieve stress. So let's get started. Disclaimer alert, disclaimer alert. Before we get started, if you haven't already, make sure and click the subscribe button and make your subscription either public or let me know that you subscribe, because I always try and respond to my subscribers. So for the first breathing exercise or technique, this one is really great. It's nice because it helps relieve stress, it helps relieve anxiety. They actually use it in the military for special ops missions to help relax the military folks before they go into battle or things that will get them really stressed out and anxious. So this is just either called box breathing or square breathing. And it's kind of like it sounds. You have to use a little bit of imagery with this. So even if you have to look at something that's a box, sometimes that helps with your breathing technique. But it's really simple. And so all you're going to do is you're breathing in for 4 seconds. Imagine you're going up the square. Then you're going to hold your breath for 4 seconds. Then you're going to breathe out for 4 seconds. And then you're going to hold your breath again for 4 seconds. So you're really just making that square with that 4 seconds, breathing in, holding it, breathing out, and then holding it again. So this one, if you feel like you're going to pass out, don't keep holding your breath, but it's 4 seconds, so it should be pretty doable. So I'm going to count for you instead of actually holding my breath, just so you can do it. This is great because, again, it's nice and it helps you relax. You can do maybe 4 to 5 sets at a time, just to kind of help get you relaxed. So get in a nice, good, comfortable position so you can really get that breath breathing in. So let's start here. And again, even if you have to make the image with your finger, or if you use your eyes somewhere like a photo or a painting on the wall or something, make sure that you're using that imagery as well, because that helps you relax. So let's start here in the corner. So we're going to go up, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it again, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then breathe in again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 1, 2, 3, 4. And hold your breath again, 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, mine's usually the hardest is after you breathe out and then you're trying to hold your breath. But again, once you do more, you'll start feeling that you have more, strength in your lungs to do it and hold it pretty easily. So again, maybe 4 to 5 times. It just depends on how stressed out you are. A lot of times, even like if you're going to the doctors or something, you get a little anxious with that. If you do some of that in the waiting room, that'll help you kind of relax and calm down. So it's a really nice technique to use almost anywhere, but especially when you have a lot of stress or anxiety. So the next breathing technique is going to be when you're breathing out with pursed lips. And what pursed lips do is it makes your lungs work harder because the opening is smaller. So again, don't keep going if you're feeling like you're passing out. Maybe do less seconds for it, but really try and build up to it. It's going to help your lungs get stronger. It's going to help relieve your stress and your anxiety and just kind of help relax you in general. So for this one, what you're going to do is you're going to do some belly breathing or the diaphragmatic breathing. And that's really just breathing in through your belly instead of through your chest. And sometimes it's hard to get that down, but if you put your hand on your belly, you can feel it go in and out, and that's a good way to get that belly breathing. So you're going to breathe in through your belly for 4 seconds, and then you're going to purse your lips and breathe out for 8 seconds. So again, I'm going to count for you so you can do it along with me if you want to, instead of actually doing the technique itself. But I'll kind of start with my pursed lips for you just so you can kind of remember to do that. So let's start again. And again with this, you can do it anywhere from, 3 to 5 reps just to kind of get you nice and relaxed. So if you want to put your hand on your belly, you can. And so you're going to breathe in for 4 seconds. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Purse your lips and breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you can see that's a little bit longer than you would think. So I will do it once just so you can see. If you can't get all the way to that 8 seconds, that's okay. But the more you do, I think the easier it'll be. So breathe in. and you can make those noises while you do it too. So that was 8 seconds. And so if you can blow the whole time like me, that's great. But if you can't, that's okay too. You know, try and get to 6. Next time, try and get to 7. Next time, try and get to 8 seconds. But again, both of these breathing techniques, you don't have to do them back to back because sometimes it might make you feel a little bit lightheaded if you haven't done this for a while. Again, don't go until you feel like you're going to pass out or anything. This is really supposed to kind of help relieve the stress, relieve that anxiety, and just help you relax in general. So there you have it. That was 2 simple breathing techniques to relieve stress. If you'd like to help support my channel, make sure and click on the link over there. And don't forget to subscribe by clicking down there. And remember, be safe, have fun, and I hope you feel better soon.
Now that you have enjoyed your deep breathing techniques, I am challenging you to put those into practice every day. Now, we are going to move on to our second key. So our second key to optimize our health is the P. The P is for plant-based whole food nutrition. Plant-based whole food nutrition. Now, by definition, nutrition is the study of food and how it affects the body. So in order to enjoy quality health, we need to consume a variety of foods so that we can get all the nutrients that our body needs. Now, good nutrition, what's that? Good nutrition means eating a variety of foods that gives you the nutrients your body needs to maintain health, for you to feel good, and for you to have enough energy. Good nutrition also means that you need to avoid processed foods as much as possible. Those foods that have long names and their names are unfamiliar when you read the ingredient list, you need to stay away from those, and especially those that are high in sodium and high in sugar. Good nutrition means limiting and being aware of added sugar. Research shows that there is a link between sugar addiction and the risk of cardiovascular disease. Good nutrition also means considering a balance, variety, and moderation in everything you eat. Whether therefore you eat or drink, God's word says, do it all to the glory of God. Now, what does it mean to eat to the glory of God? Well, we can eat to the glory of God by following God's original diet in Genesis 1:29. When God made man, he gave man herb-bearing seeds, and those are actually your nuts and your grains. He also gave man for food tree-yielding seeds, and that's the fruit. Now, after sin, God added something to our diet, the herb-yielding seed. Genesis 3:18, and that's our vegetable. So God, in his original plan, intended for us to have a plant-based whole food diet. We usually say, from the ground to your plate to your stomach. The closer your food is from the ground to your plate, the more nutritious it is, and the more beneficial it will be to your body. So plant-based whole food nutrition consists of nuts, grains, fruits, and the vegetables. Yes. So the original diet, according to the servant of the Lord, in Counsels on Diets and Food, page 81, is God has given us grains, fruits, nuts, and vegetables And this constitutes the diet chosen for us by our Creator God. These foods prepared in a simple and natural as a format as possible are the most helpful and the most nourishing to our body. Sister White says they impart strength, they give us the power of endurance, they help our intellect to be sharp, and it also helps us to have more complex carbohydrates, and it's overall beneficial to our health. So again, our original diet, the original diet that God has given to us is still the best diet. And many modern scientific journals are coming up with the conclusion that a plant-based whole food diet is best for human consumption. Now, it has been said that nutrition is the fuel that drives our body. And as I said earlier, research supports the fact that a plant-based whole food diet supports our health. So when we eat a lot of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, and seeds, God's original diet, we enjoy a better quality of health. Now, listen to what one of the leading researchers says, Dr. Lacey. He said, there is now an overwhelming scientific and medical case for avoiding the consumption of meat and meat products, despite what the government attempts to persuade us to do. So this is a leading researcher who is actually a microbiologist who is saying to us that a plant-based diet is better for us than consuming meat and meat products. And this is borne out in lots of studies that talks about the longevity and the better quality of health that one enjoys from eating a plant-based diet. Now, let's talk about plant-based diet in more detail. When we think of a plant-based diet, we are thinking of high fiber, low fat. So all of this we get from plants. These are found only in plants. High fiber, low fat, plant-based. Avoid processed foods, as we said earlier, and making sure that those labels, all those preservatives and all those things that you find in your foods, you need to stay away from those. Take time to read the food labels. If you can't call the word, it is something that you need to stay away from. Now, research done in 2018 looking at plant-based nutrition concluded that plant-based nutrition consisting of vegetables, whole grains, fruits, that these are more efficient for the functioning of your body. And that was only done as recently as 2018. Now, we also need grains. Adults should consume at least 6 ounces of grains per day. This means that you should consume at least 3 ounces of whole grain every day. This is about 2 ounces, preferably, of whole grain per meal, which can cover over 1/4 of your plate. 1 ounce is equal to 1 cup of whole cereal, and make sure that your cereal is whole grain, like Quaker Oats, and you have a lot of other grains that you can incorporate in your diet. So grains are very important. Then we come to our nuts. According to health claims, and by the way, it comes from the FDA, that we need to consume at least 1.5 ounces, which is 42 grams of nuts every day. And that is just like a handful. for your heart health. It reduces your risk of heart disease. So your cardiovascular health is supported in this meal. Now, what about your fruits and vegetables? We need to eat 8 to 9 servings of fruits and vegetables daily. A diet rich in vegetables and fruit can do a number of things. It is beneficial all around. But listen to me very carefully. Here are a couple of things. A diet rich in plant-based foods helps your blood pressure. It reduces your risk of heart disease, strokes. It prevents some types of cancer. It lowers your risk of problems with your eyes and other digestive problems. It also has a very positive effect on your blood sugar. So people who are diabetic, eating a more plant-based diet is more beneficial for you. And by the way, a plant-based diet is rich in fiber. So it means you'll feel fuller for a longer time, and so you wouldn't have those spikes in your blood sugar. And this information comes from the Harvard School of Public Health. So you see it, very, very important. Plant-based nutrition is God's best plan for us to enjoy optimum health. Now, listen to what Edward Stanley, who is a premier researcher, said. He said, those who think they have no time for healthy eating, sooner or later will find time for illness. I'm going to repeat that. Those who think they have no time for healthy eating will sooner or later find the time for illness. Research clearly indicates that a diet that supports optimum health is a plant-based, whole food diet that has a lot of fiber and has a wide variety of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, and seeds. Now, so if you look at your plate, half of your plate should be fruits and vegetables. 1/4 should be your grains, and the other quarter your protein. So look at your plate very carefully. I know for most of us, when we look at your plates, we have a lot of carbohydrates. And a lot of times, it's not complex carbohydrates. It is not like brown rice. And this can be detrimental to our health. So we will want to rethink what we are doing. If we want to enjoy optimum health, we want to focus on complex carbohydrates because this is what is more beneficial to your health. Now, what are some of the other benefits of plant-based whole food nutrition? A plant-based diet can be good for your heart. If you're eating mostly fruits, vegetables, and whole grains in your meal, you would enjoy a better quality of health. You need to eat things like also soybeans because we have seen over time that it can help with your cholesterol, control your cholesterol level, control your blood pressure, and also it is a very important factor in reducing your risk for type 2 diabetes. Now, when we look at research and how much it informs us about the things we eat, we need to consider this. The American Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, let me say that another way. The Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics states that vegetarians and vegans enjoy a lower risk of death from heart disease, lower blood sugar, lower blood pressure, and also hypertension, and type 2 diabetes. So if you eat a plant-based diet, overall, you will have a better quality of life. The ADA actually says a healthful, nutritionally adequate diet is plant-based whole food. So it's not me, it is what the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics recommend. Now, science has also found, and this is one we need to take strict attention to, science have also found that vegetarians have a stronger immune system than meat-eating individuals. This means that they are less susceptible to everyday illnesses such as the flu. Vegetarians and vegans live on an average 6 to 10 years longer than meat eaters. And many studies have shown that white blood cells, the sample of the white blood cells in vegetarians or vegans, it has more cancer fighting properties. It is able to destroy cancer producing cells. So here you have it. Eating plant-based boosts your immune system and help your body to function at optimum. And by the way, the quality of protein that you get from a plant-based diet is adequate for your body to function effectively. So, when we compare meat eaters to vegetarians, here is what we can conclude. Vegetarians usually eat less saturated fat, and this is important because saturated fat is what blocks your arteries, so that your heart has to work harder to pump the blood so that your body can get all the nutrients it needs. So vegetarians usually eat less saturated fat. They have more fiber in their diet, more vitamin C, more vitamin E, magnesium, potassium, folic acid, and phytochemicals that your body needs so desperately. Plant-based eating also helps your body to have more carotenoids and also flavonoids, and these help your immune system to function at optimum. Did you know that vegetarians are likely to have lower total LDL cholesterol, lower blood pressure, as well as less body mass? So if you're thinking about losing weight, a plant-based diet is the way to go. And that comes from Harvard Health. So even scientific journals today are alluding to the fact that a plant-based diet is important. Hippocrates said it this way: let your food be your medicine. If we are eating a plant-based whole grain diet, then it means that our body will be getting all that it needs to function at optimum. So here we go with our comparison. So plant-based versus meat. Plant-based whole food diet has been shown, as I said earlier, to lower your cholesterol level. It helps to control your blood pressure and your blood sugar. It also reverses or prevents heart disease. It also helps to keep your weight in check, so you would not have the problem of obesity. It also helps with your risk of cancer and diabetes. It lowers the progression of certain types of cancer, and it improves the symptoms of rheumatoid arthritis. It improves your overall health. Plant-based diet. Now, what is the science saying about meat eating? It significantly increases your risk for cancer. Did you know that? It also increases your risk for heart disease and diabetes. Meat eating makes it harder to maintain a healthy body weight. And the meats that we eat today, if you see the environment where they grow, these cows and chickens are raised, it would alarm you. And another very important thing, many of the animal products today, these cows and chickens are fed with a lot of antibiotics so that they can develop faster, so that you will get more meat. But when they do that and you consume that meat, it means that your body becomes more resistant to the very antibiotic that is supposed to help you. So it's important that you take note of that. It also increases your risk of a number of foodborne illnesses, and across the board, it would decrease your risk of enjoying a better quality of health, and you can experience premature death by eating a lot of meat. So, as we think of plant-based versus meat eating, here are 4 very important things that we need to take note of. Plant-based eating, number 1, prevent chronic diseases. Number 2, you want to be happy? Eat more plant-based foods. Because plant-based eating keeps you in a happier mood. It protects your heart, it keeps off the weight, and it promotes longevity, and it gives you a lot of energy. Many athletes today are choosing to become vegetarians and vegans because they are finding that it improves their energy and their stamina. So you need to take a page out of the books of these individuals that have seen the overall benefit of plant-based whole food nutrition. When you eat meat, especially with red meat, it increases your risk of colon cancer. Because a lot of these meats also, not only red meat, other meats are processed. You have to think of the amount of salt and other preservatives that they have in this meat. It can be detrimental to your health. Eating meat over a long period of time can also affect the functioning of your brain. Your brain is not able to function at optimum level, and people experience what we call brain fog from eating too much of meat. A Dutch study revealed that cognitive function in males over 69 years old, because they are taking in a lot of meat, they have seen the high intake of omega-6, its correlation with cognitive impairment. They have also concluded that from the meat eating, a lot of cholesterol, and what it does, it accumulates in the arteries around the heart, and thus it causes your blood not to circulate properly, and also it interferes with your brain processing information, and your ability to think and reason and process information clearly. So here you have it, plant-based versus meat eating. I am sure for all of us, we want to experience abundant health. We want to follow God's plan. 3 John 2 says, Beloved, I wish above all things that you prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers. So key number 2, plant-based whole food nutrition. And as we think of our action plan, think about incorporating more high fiber, low fat, plant-based food in your everyday meal. Because what this does, it gives you the vital phytochemicals that your body needs to function well. Avoid processed foods at all costs. Eat whole foods as much as possible. You need to eat your breakfast like a king, your lunch like a princess, and your dinner like a pauper. You need to have regular times at which you eat your meal. And by the way, make sure that you're eating 8 to 9 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. And when you look at your plate, make sure that it consists of fruits and vegetables, half of your plate, and then your protein and your carbohydrates, the other. Have a regular time to eat, and when you eat, make sure eating is a happy time. Take time to chew your food. Did you know that you need to chew each mouthful of food at least 35 to 40 times? Make eating pleasurable. Surround yourself with positive things as you eat. Do not look at the television when you're eating your meal. Focus on the blessings of God. Enjoy all the different flavors that God has given us in our natural food. And I guarantee you, if you eat the way God intended for us to eat, then you will enjoy optimum health. So here you have it, the 2 P's, oxygen, O, and P, plant-based, whole food nutrition. May the Lord bless you as you put these 2 P's into operation in your life. You can unlock the secrets to optimum health. God bless you. Thank you so very much for joining us for our series, 8 Keys to Optimize Your Health. I'm sure you may have questions for me. Please send your questions to Uzima, UZIMA, Lifestyle Center at yahoo.com. I repeat, Uzima, UZIMA, Lifestyle Center at yahoo.com. And please join us next week for our next edition when we will focus on 2 other keys: trust and improved sleep.